I'm going to cut that off because I'll get caught up in that music and I will not get anything done. And so here it is. I am Adrienne. I am Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside.com. Thank you so much for tuning in whenever you're tuning in to see this. And you guys, anyone who knows me or has watched me knows I'm a little bit different today. I decided to wear a head wrap. I just am in that mood, and I don't have my computer on. I'm taping this offline. I've just kind of pulled back altogether today. And I know that one of the reasons probably has a lot to do with the upcoming full moon, which is in just a few days, and that is the full moon in Virgo. And I am going to talk briefly about this full moon in Virgo. Now, let me tell you, as I mentioned, I'm not online, and so I don't think I have access to the notes that I took. Hold on, let me check. I know I took notes, but I have been looking for them, and I have not found my notes anywhere. And I'm thinking, wait, did I imagine I took the notes? But no, I know I did. So give me a moment as I search. Here we go, Virgo full moon stuff. See, this doesn't give it to me. This just tells me numbers. I know I did something. Let me look one other place. I mean, I'm usually, because we're getting kind of close, and I just know I did my research, but I'm really not seeing this. This is really weird. Oh, I wonder if it's a Word doc. Let me just check something. There's so much stuff that I didn't do that I could have done or should have done. So that weirds me out too, that I missed so many details since the last full moon. And what's weird is that, you know, the full moon is about things like details. So, yeah. Oh, wow. I know I did research, because I know I did some research on either ChatGPT or DeepSeek or something like that. And, but whatever I did, it is just nowhere to be found. I'm just checking just to see, this is discussing my birthday. And Venus and more birthdays. And absolutely nothing. That is so weird, you guys. Now, here's the good thing. I know enough about astrology, and I'm pretty entertaining human being, I think. That, and I'm going to try to cut out whatever I've mustered up to now. So we're going to do a restart in a second, okay? We're going to restart. And I feel like when things like this happen, they're meant to happen. Like, I could just say, oh, I did all that fancy dancy research, and now I don't have my notes, and I can't do da 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 da. And it's like, no, I did all that fancy dancy research to enhance what I do, but I don't need it to do what I do. I hope that makes sense. So let's go ahead and talk about this full moon in Virgo. And I'm just going to lift up some crystals. I've got my amethyst here. I've got a pink quartz here. And of course, I've got my trusty Selenite wand. I always have that here when I'm recording. So we're going to do a couple of things today. First of all, I want you to know that I pulled out, for the first time in a long time, I pulled out my trusty deck. This is the Purposeful Career deck. I think I've only used this once before. So we're going to do some Purposeful Career readings. And I'm going to also talk about each sign to each sign. And we're going to talk about this full moon in Virgo. So the full moon in Virgo, one of the things that I did manage to find that didn't get erased or removed was exactly when this is happening. It's happening at 11:55 p.m. Pacific on March 13th. So today is March 7th. This means that we have 6 more days before we get to manifest the intentions of using this full moon in Virgo energy. So the full moon in Virgo energy is very particular. It is happening, by the way, near the South Node. It's happening at 23 degrees and 56 minutes of Virgo. It's a lunar eclipse. Okay, so March 13th is a lunar eclipse. This is a very important eclipse, not to be messed with eclipse, okay? And it's Virgo. Here's the thing about Virgo. Virgo is very critical. It is very analytical, and it looks at details. It's searching for details. It's always searching for details. It can't help itself. It's obsessed with details. Now, Virgo at 23 degrees, we're going to do something special also here. I want to just check out this degree because it's 23 degrees and 56 minutes of Virgo, which means it's almost at 24 degrees of Virgo. And I just want to find out what this particular degree means. And we'll look at 23 and 24. How's that? So 23 degrees of Virgo. 23 degrees of Virgo. Which would probably end up being like what? During that day. Because it's 23:56. So that same day, the 13th, because this is not happening until 11:55 at night. So you're going to feel this on the 13th regardless. And it's an animal trainer. This is a symbol of the organic integrity of the world at large. And oh my God. Did it just say the organic integrity of the world at large? I live in America. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know what's going on here in America. It's disgraceful. It is an affront to anybody. I know there are some people that they still support this person and they don't like it when you say anything about what's going on. But I do believe that there is a problem with the organic integrity of the world at large. And thank you, Dr. Mark Edmund Jones, for writing the book Sabian Symbols. That's what we're looking at right now. So the implicit, let me just say this, evident here in man's gift in using all its interweaving relationships to impose his ideas and desires on lesser forms of life. Interweaving relationships to impose his ideas and desires on lesser forms of life. This is frightening. This is what we're going through. Implicit in the symbolism is the fact that the individual will be, or an individual will be more conditioned, or conditioned more, and more continual, or more hopelessly by his environment and experience if he fails to give continual attention to his own potentials and to self-discipline. He must have to develop them. So implicit in the symbolism is the fact that the individual will be conditioned more and more hopelessly by his environment. That's frightening, isn't it? I feel like right now we're in a scene from like Invasion of the Pod people. What is it? Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And there's the scene when like Donald Sutherland and I forget who the girl was with him again. But they were fighting it. And they were doing a good job of fighting it. But you know, of course they lost. Everyone loses in those kind of movies. Anyway, if he fails to give continual attention to his potentials and to his self-discipline, he must have to develop them. So it's important to develop some self-discipline. You have to pay attention to your own potentials, people, and develop some self-discipline. I know it's hard. I know it is. Now he finds he can do everything that for which he is able to enlist the whole of himself. Resoluteness. I guess this is about the discipline of it all. Being resolute and getting it done. Like dedicating the whole of yourself. That's like putting your whole ass into it. You know, putting your whole foot into it. Don't do it half-ass, do it whole-ass. That's pretty much what this is. I'm sorry. So many of us don't have that resoluteness. Like, there are so many wishy-washy people, especially when it comes to what's going on here in America and the world at large. It's really, we're in trouble. So when positive, the degree is the illimitable patience and adroitness in personal accomplishment. Illimitable patience. Adroitness. When negative, futile show off, idle boasting. Now, this is it was today, the 7th, so it's in 6 days from the day I'm doing this. Let me see what the calendar says that is. So the 13th is next Thursday. So I'm doing this on Friday. Gosh, it's still Friday. I thought it was Sunday already. It is Saturday. You know, this day is going long. It's only 4:45. So weird. Some days go quick, some days go long. Anyway, I want to also read Virgo 24. And the reason for that is that 23 degrees and 56 minutes. It's almost 24 degrees. So the actual, the pinnacle of this full moon is actually closer to 24 degrees. So listen to this. This is a whole different vibe. This message the vibe feels different. It says, Mary and her white lamb. Mary and her white lamb. This is a symbol of the self-adequacy of experience on the inner or subjective side, or of that fullness of life that comes through a cherishing of young ideas. A cherishing of young ideas. The healthy approach to heaven through a child's wide-eyed expectation is a clue to the adult's responsibility for his potentials. These he must take with him in a very conscious fashion. Wherever he goes, if he is not to find himself divided within himself and so defeated by his own confusion. Let me read that again, because Mark Edmund Jones writes deeply, and he's from like the 1800s or early 1900s. So the healthy approach to heaven is through a child's eyes, or wide-eyed expectation, is a clue to the adult's responsibility for his potentials. These he must take with him in a very conscious fashion wherever he goes, if he is not to find himself divided within himself and so defeated by his own confusion. The key word is alertness. When positive, the degree is a highly ingenuous creativity by which an individual is able to make all contact with others a worthwhile relationship of self, and when negative, a happy-go-lucky vacuity of spirit and understanding. And I would think that means empty. Okay, it's vacuous or vacuity. So this tells me the self being alert, self-adequate, but that alertness, that means when it says Mary and her white lamb, and it's saying like the adult's responsibility and the wide-eyed expectation of a child, and not to be divided. Like, we have to be alert. When I see this, I feel like, first of all, if this was political, I don't feel like they're being alert. But if this is personal for each of us as individuals, please be alert to all things. You know, Virgo is a sign of details. It's an analytical sign. I don't know if you know that. Virgo is the sign that rules facts and figures, details. They're analysts and researchers. They love research. They are intelligent. They rule the mind. They are Mercury ruled, just like Gemini. They're very smart. Their mind is always going. And for them, it's important that information is stored and worked on, and they have all of the details. It's all about facts, you guys. It's all about being alert to all the details. We cannot sleep on this. And I think when we're in Pisces season, our tendency is to sleep, whether it's for real sleep, because I'm exhausted right now. I could definitely sleep right now. And if not actual literal sleep, then it is sleeping of the mind and sleeping of the spirit, and just at the end of hibernation season, and you just don't want to do anything. And so we could be dealing with that, and a lot of the people out there might be dealing with that. I don't even know what to tell you as far as how to fix that. You know, there's the Virgo full moon is an indication of an opposition between the sun and the moon. The moon is in one place, the sun is in another place, and the two are not mixing. So let's say you have been feeling confused and sleepy like I do right now. I literally just had to wrap my head. I just didn't have any more energy to do anything else. At least I put on some makeup. But you may have felt this way too. I feel like a lot of people feel this way when it's Pisces season, and it just really knocks us out. It knocks us for a loop because it's Pisces season. Now, the good thing, I'm thinking this Virgo is going to wake us up. We're going to become more aware of what's happening around us, more aware of the details that are occurring, more aware so that we can fix whatever these problems are that are going to creep up on us. And I do feel that there are going to be some problems that do creep up on us. So we need to be aware of all the details. Now, I'm going to do the signs, but I'm going to do that in a different video, because I just realized I'm already at 20 minutes and we've got 12 signs. That's going to take forever. And so I'm going to have to break these up, obviously. But I wanted to show that I did a little chart, just a little mini chart, just to see where everything's going. And of course, we've got a lot going on up above the horizon again. So we've got a lot of stuff that can be seen. People are aware of it. but it's not necessarily good. I mean, we've got Gemini sitting up at the top of the chart and Saturn's there. I almost feel like Trump, the Gemini, is the problem for the entire world. Not just America. That Saturn is affecting the entire world. And that's crazy to think that that could be the real Gemini that is affecting people in such a negative way. You know, Saturn tends to be a little harsh. And so I do sense that that could be a problem, okay, with Saturn sitting in it. You know, the funny thing is Saturn, whenever I see, say, Saturn in a chart, a horoscope chart, and it's all by itself even, I always say, oh God, that's a very stern person. That's a person usually that rules with an iron fist. Or they've got some type of, like, as a boss, they're a hard-ass boss. That type of boss. And so when I see Gemini up in the 10th house, I think we're going to have some issues and maybe even some kind of clash. And this is because Virgo and Gemini are naturally square each other. So I believe there could be a clash. And I do believe this moon and Saturn do square. You know, the 10th house is the reputation. With Saturn in the 10th house like that, I don't like this vibe. It just tells us that the reputation that we have at this time is trash. Yeah. Now look, I'm going to do the signs in a moment, but before I do, I just wanted to mention that on the 29th of March, at 3:57 a.m. Pacific, we're going to have a solar eclipse on the north or near the north node. And that's going to be at 9 degrees of Aries. So I want you to think about where 9 degrees of Aries is. And that's where that solar eclipse is going to happen on the 29th of March. So we've got two pair eclipses, one a lunar, one a solar, both happening in the month of March. One at 23 degrees and 56 minutes of Virgo, happening on the 13th of March, and the other happening at 9 degrees of Aries on the 29th of March. And that's the solar eclipse near the North Node. That's the important part that I wanted to get out in this video. And also that this moon is in the sign of Virgo, and that it's very critical. And I do believe that it could be that the universe is actually telling us to use a critical eye, to open our eyes, to see where the problems are, the flaws are, the mistakes are, to fix the issues because we see the flaws. Do not close your eyes to reality or truths or things that must be dealt with at this time. Please see the flaws. That way you can fix the flaws. You cannot fix anything you cannot see or will not see or refuse to see. So it's important that you take a good look at all the things that are occurring and act accordingly. Okay? So this has been Adrienne, Capricorntigress of astrologyaLookInside.com. I will be back to do readings. I will just do special messages for each of the zodiac signs. And as I said, I'm going to be pulling a purposeful career card for each sign as well. Okay? Much love, much light, many blessings. This has been Adrienne, Capricorntigress of astrologyaLookInside.com.
Astrology, a look inside. Presenting astrology and tarot readings for all.